Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with JP8 Report coming to you today. Another Texas legislative update that from the governor's signatures from Governor Abbott. For the ones of y'all that aren't part of Texas, this is going to be episode 39. Religious freedom and pro-life bills that came through the legislature. So, as usual, got to do this all the time. Okay, so if you are listening, or even watching, because this is a video podcast, please subscribe to the podcast, be it on Rumble or Podbean or YouTube or even on Facebook. Okay, so every time I publish, you can get a copy of it. Greatly appreciated. So, before I begin talking about subscriptions, I was at a political function the other night, and an old friend of mine, he's a retired command sergeant major, and I won't mention his name to protect the innocent. Now, he came up to me, and I hadn't seen him in like ages, because with all the shutdowns and delays and stuff because of COVID, and he walked up to me and said, "James, I love it." I'm like, "What?" He said, "The JP8 Report. That is perfect. That is an awesome name." And I was like, "What? You actually listen to it?" And he told me he listens to it on YouTube, and that's the first time I had someone just walk up to me out of the blue and tell me they love the JP8 Report. That was really cool. So subscribe. Okay. So on this episode, we're gonna talk about some bills. There were 3 bills that came through for religious freedom, and 2 bills that came through for abortion. Okay. And I'm gonna go to the first one. Show y'all a slide in just a second so we can get started. Okay. So religious freedom. Stuff that's come through. There we go. So we're going to talk about HB 1239, SB 581, and HB 525. Okay, and then there's constitutional amendment, SJR 27. Remember, the legislature started in the middle of January, and it adjourned at the end of May. Just a little bit early because some crazy Democrats decided they want to walk out before everything was finished. But Governor Abbott will take care of that. Okay. Matter of fact, if you didn't know, he did in Texas we can do not pocket vetoes, line item vetoes. Any line item part of the state budget that that negates the pay of anyone that leaves early during a legislative session. Okay, they walk out. I dare them to walk out during a special session. Well, I don't dare them. They're probably going to do it anyway. So religious freedom. So we just came through this COVID stuff over the last 16 months. I can't believe it's been 16 months. And you see a lot of cities and towns in Texas and outside of Texas and all over the world. One comes to me being in I believe Calgary, Canada, which I know it's a different country. They got different laws up there. Well, this one pastor said, "You're not shutting down my church. You'll have to arrest me." They arrested him, but he stood on his principles, and they arrested him again. He tried it again after he was released. Here in Texas, we had the same situation. A lot of we had churches that were afraid to have services. They didn't let people in. This is ridiculous. People just in our own church. Okay, so I go to a Baptist church here in Coppers Cove, and we were ready for COVID before we even knew COVID was even coming, because me and our pastor and associate pastor, we had developed. We were putting videos and for our services and our songs that we were singing. We were putting them on YouTube, and we were recording them, and we were doing live broadcasting even before COVID even hit. So he was on vacation when everything happened, and he I think he told us he was in a store buying some diapers for their daughter, and everything was gone. And I don't know what's going on, and they told him, and he went immediately, and they came back to town. And then we just started. We're all talking about what to do and stuff, and it's like, well, why don't we just you preach from the pulpit, we Facebook Live you, and then we'll record it and put it on YouTube. And we've been doing it ever since. But we were doing it to a limited extent prior to that, except for the live broadcasting. But now every service we broadcast live. We store them and we post them on YouTube and Facebook, and a place called Sermon Audio where you can get videos also. And man, but we were ready for COVID before COVID hit, and you wouldn't believe the numbers that people were watching our pastor's services. It was unbelievable. So in the legislature for religious freedom, there was HB 1239 and then SB 581 and HB 525. All three of them have already been signed by the governor. Okay, I'm gonna have to realign my camera a little bit. Showing I should be a little bit higher. I'm only 5.5 feet tall anyway. So HB 1239. HB 1239 was signed by the governor on the 16th of June, just a few days ago. It ensures no church or house of worship is closed by government overreach, be it Libertarian, Democrat, or Republican. They can't just arbitrarily go into your services. You're closed. Okay? I know we have the freedom of religion in our country, but some politicians just ignore what our Constitution says, and I'm in charge. I can do what I want. Okay? You'll see it with resolutions in city councils in towns, that people try to do what they want to do. Like, I dare you to enforce that. Well, you know what? The Republican, I don't know what the breakdown was, but here in Texas, now with this House bill that was signed by House Bill 1239, signed by Governor Abbott on the 16th of June, you cannot close your church. I mean, meteors can be falling from the sky, and they can't close your church. Okay? Let's hope meteors don't fall from the sky. Okay, and then there's Senate Bill 581. 581 was the first one of these that was signed. It was signed by the governor on the 31st of May, on the day that of adjournment from the legislature. That's how fast that one was signed. And then 581 states, preserves, this is a really good one, okay, preserves private property owners' right to religious expression by prohibiting homeowner associations from adopting restrictive rules to remove religious displays on a homeowner's property. Okay, so how many friends you have out there that put a crash up over Christmas or nativity? Okay, I call them nativities, but a lot of people call them crashes. And then over Easter, they'll put crosses up. Okay, and how many times have you watched the news and HOAs, they go, and I know HOA is like a big apartment complex, property manager type deal. We don't live in HOA. And when my wife bought our house, when I was in Iraq, I told her, no HOAs, and please look in these communities, but no HOAs, because I own my property. I insist on owning my property. I don't even like code enforcement from my local city even coming around my property. Okay? But this prevents HOAs and their little select board of members that collect rent from you once a year, several $100s in most instances, saying you can't put a cross up on your lawn. You can't put that crèche up on your lawn because it goes against the beliefs of your neighbor across the street. Well, you and me, we have the freedom of religion, and it's guaranteed by the United States Constitution. Okay? This bill that was signed prevents the HOAs from putting those rules together and enforcing them on other people. Okay? I wonder if that even, no, it wouldn't apply to flags, but it should. They probably need to do that one in the next legislative session, because there's people that complain about flags too. And if you know me and you're on my Facebook page, you'll see on my cover page for my personal, I have 2 flagpoles in my front yard. American flag with "Don't Tread on Me" below it, and then the Texas flag on the next one, and "Come and Take It" flag right below it. You ain't coming on my property to take my flags. You're not. I'll deal with you. So that was signed on the 31st of May. Cool stuff there. Really needed. Well, why would we even need that bill? Leave people well enough alone. They're not causing problems. There's nothing wrong with putting the 10 Commandments or a cross or a crèche or whatever else you want to put in your front. It's your property. Okay, as long as your property is not trashed, put your religious display on there. There's nothing wrong with that. But we had to go and pass a bill to guarantee that right to those property owners. Me and myself, I don't even really think HOAs should even be legally available to exist unless they owned all the properties, but they don't. It's just a rental agency, and they collect money. Okay, and then the last one that they signed for religious freedom is House Bill 525. It was signed yesterday. Okay, so House Bill 525 it confirms religious organizations and their activities are essential at all times, including a declared state of disaster. Okay, I'll read that one more time. Confirms religious organizations and their activities are essentials at all times, including a declared state of emergency. So that caveats on to 1239. Okay, so they say, well, you can't close our church. Well, then the government, they go, oh, but you're not deemed essential, so you still got to close. We got you. House Bill 525 keeps them from saying that you can actually do that. And it enables churches and synagogues and mosques and all that they are essential and people can come there to worship without restrictions. And even though the governor or the county judge or even the mayor says, hey, we're in a state of disaster, you have the freedom of religion. Amendment number 1 to the United States Constitution is the freedom. There are 5 basic freedoms, and one of them is the freedom of religion. Okay? And then there's a constitutional amendment that's going to go up in November. I believe it is coming November. It gives Texas voters the opportunity to strengthen religious freedom by changing the Constitution in the state of Texas to include a ban on local officials closing houses of worship. So they got SJR 27. I'll go back to it again. Okay, while we're talking about it. And look at those cool crosses. Right? You got to know what they mean. So SJR 27, it's going to go before voters. It's going to codify permanently House Bill 1239. Okay, into the Texas Constitution. So hopefully, I'm voting for that. So Some people want to challenge stuff, but I think it's right that we do that. Trying to go to another slide. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about the pro-life victories in the Texas Legislature. Okay, I'm going to go back to that one. There are two bills, Senate Bill 8 and House Bill 1280. Okay, both of them have already been signed by the governor. Take a look at that for a second, and then I'm going to switch it off back to me so you can see my cool face. Please, I hope I didn't break those cameras or your monitors. So, Senate Bill 8, Texas Heartbeat Act. Okay, it was signed on the 19th of May. That's even before the legislature adjourned. Okay, so the Texas Heartbeat Act is necessary to protect more lives of unborn children by prohibiting abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected. This law ensures that an unborn child is carried the full term of a woman's pregnancy. Okay, the law provides an exception for women experiencing valid medical emergencies as determined and documented by a physician. I believe this is the 6 weeks abortion bill. Okay, you can detect a heartbeat of a baby at 18 days, but I guess they did 6 weeks to make it where you can actually hear with the with the ear on the stomach or with the regular stethoscope. Okay, but it was signed by the 18th on the 19th of May by Governor Abbott. Okay, this goes in effect, I believe, on the 1st of September. I fully support it, no matter what. People know me, know my views. I'm very pro-life. Very pro-life. I do believe on the 19th or 20th, on the 1st or 2nd of September, someone's going to file a lawsuit against it. I know it's coming. We'll see. But I can see that that's coming. Okay? We'll see. Well, to help with that, they put $100 million in funding for abortion, for alternatives to abortion programs like the Hope Pregnancy Centers and counselings and enhanced ultrasounds and stuff like that. Anything to educate women and men, because it takes two, right? My wife was even adopted, so we need to protect these little kids. Okay, they didn't ask, we did. Okay. And they need to get that chance to live a full life like we are living a full life. There was $352 million added to women's health programs to increase. That's an increase of $10 million from the previous budget cycle. So we even put more money in for women's health. Okay. And then they banned taxpayer-funded funds. It says maintains the state's ban prohibiting abortion providers from receiving state funds on participating in family planning. So that means Planned Parenthood, you're out of here. Okay, you're not receiving state money at all. So go panhandle elsewhere, because you're not going to get it from me. You're not going to get it from other homeowners around here pay property taxes. And then 3 days ago, on the 16th of June, House Bill 1280 was passed. Okay, so let me switch back again. Okay, you see that right there? Take a look at it. HB 1280. Okay, that is a preemptive. Strike against Roe v. Wade. Okay, so I'll read what they put on there so I don't mess it up. Okay, in 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court issued its Roe v. Wade decision, striking out all bans on abortions. Recently, the discussion has turned to the possibility of that court decision being overturned. Okay, it all depends on what the Supreme Court says in the case that comes before it, for what the ruling will be. Okay, well, House Bill 1280 sets the stage for Texas to fully ban abortions 30 days after the U.S. Supreme Court issues a decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Rather than waiting for a new legislative session, this law allows Texas to immediately take action to protect lives. So, if by chance a court case makes it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, we're going to look at pre-existing law and make a decision on it, and then it goes to the Supreme Court and they make that decision, and if it's affirmative, where it's going to overturn Roe v. Wade in 30 days, the law of Texas will be what came out of the Supreme Court. Okay, instead of waiting, because quick quiz question, I'll wait 15 seconds. How often does the state legislature meet? Let's do multiple choice. Is it once a year, once every 2 years, once every 4 years, or every day? It's B. They meet every 2 years. Okay, so hope y'all got that. Okay, so we just looked at 5 bills and a constitutional amendment that went through the state legislature dealing with religious freedom and abortion legislation. So now you can't close down churches. Churches are essential. Homeowner associations can't restrict the religious rights of homeowners. And then the heartbeat bill for the state of Texas, and then the pre-abortion ban on abortions. Okay, so 5 went before the governor. All 5 got signed, and then November you have you'll have a constitutional amendment to vote for, making it illegal for local officials to close houses of worship. All right, so that's our podcast for the day. How long has I been going? Been 22 minutes. Wow. Okay, I did a lot of talking. So if you have any comments, leave them on the comment section of the podcast you're listening to. If you want to write me, my email address is jp8report@gmail.com. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook at JP8 Report. That's my page for the JP8 Report. I'm on Parler. Parler's on. I don't know what the deal is with Parler, but Parler's like, I think it's on life support. It ain't been performing the way I wanted it to perform. I'm still sticking with it for a while, but I'm getting to the point where, like, look, get it fixed or move on. But hey, Rumble's the place to be. So if you're seeing me on Rumble, make sure you subscribe to it. Leave a comment in there. Hit the little Rumble button, and as you tell, I forgot to put a phone on vibrate. So hey, this is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. I'm out of here. I'll see you on the flip side.